All right, how you doing, my non-mechanic drivers? This video is going to be about taking out the number one injector. And the way the injectors line up on my truck, which is a 2019 Kenworth T680 MX13, starts from the front to back. And actually there's injector 1, injector 2. So you can actually do these on this particular engine. It's MX13 EPA17. You can do it on this particular engine without having to mess with your overhead. They'll come right out, but there's a trick to it. Of course, it's never that simple. Of course, you got to take down your hold down bolt, which I've already taken out right there. Once you take off your cover, and the easiest thing I found is just loosen the bolt, the nut right here, and this whole air cleaner swings out once you take the filter out. But then once you do that, you got a connector you got to unplug. It's pretty easy. Just take your time so you don't break nothing. It's all about just taking your time. And then once you do that, you remove the hold down bolt down here. It's a little tricky to get that little bugger out of there, but you got to put it at the right angle to get it to come up out of there. Once you get that, then you'll need something along these lines like a slide hammer. This is what I use. This is not the actual tool. The actual tool that's for this particular injector pull it's going to cost you for like $500. I found this slide hammer kit online on Amazon for I think like $100 something. But you'll need that, and then you'll also need what they call for a special socket that's for removing fuel lines. You need a 21 millimeter fuel line. It looks like this. Because what it is, you got to take the fuel line loose down here. Right here, because this is the number one injector. You look back in there, you'll see where my finger is. That's number one fuel line. You got to unattach this. The only way you can get in there is with that socket. You will not be able to use a wrench. You don't want to round this nut off, because then you got to hope they have it in stock and replace this line. That's the best thing I found. It made it easier. And then also when you're trying to break it loose, give it a little. You can put some PB Blast on it or something like that. And if it doesn't come loose to the left right away, I did find this little technique out from a mechanic. You know, give it a little turn to the right like you're trying to tighten it. Just a little. You don't want to, put brute force on it. But just if you can, because all it is just seized up a little bit, and that'll help to unseize it. Then also, but before you do that, you need to remove this end of the fuel line from here, so you get more play in the line when you go to loosen that nut. And it's just this little thing right here. It drops down, and that's it. Once you do that, then you have to retract this fuel line slightly. You don't have to take it all the way out. You only got to take that fuel line a little bit, like that. You just got to unscrew it all the way. And what it does, it pulls the fuel line back from that little nozzle hole right there. The fuel line, I guess, sits right inside of that. Once you back that fuel line out, this injector will come right out real easy, and you don't need a lot of force for it. Now, when you're installing the new one, you need to make sure you take pictures of those numbers, of all those numbers on there, because you will need, I'm not sure which numbers, if it's this numbers or that number, but you need all those digits for when you have to use a Davy 4 or some type of dealership level software to reprogram your computer for the new injector numbers. That is critical. You have to have a dealership level software to do this. You cannot just go in here and pull the injector and it's gonna work. It'll mess up everything. I don't even know what will happen, but I don't even know if it'll start, because it won't recognize this injector. Maybe, I don't know. But you do need a dealership level software to complete this process. But taking it apart is not an issue. It's just the software that you need to be able to reprogram your ECU with the new injector numbers. Otherwise, it's a real straightforward job. It's real easy, and like I said, I'll show you again. It's right on top, and I've already pulled it. I just sat it back in there just so you can see it. Make sure you know the orientation of it also, so you can line that nozzle back up with your fuel line. And all I can say, drivers, until the next video, but this is how we got to do it to stay in business. All right, if you wouldn't mind, share, like, subscribe if you like what I'm putting out. And also I'm going to put the link for the OTR tool, OTR Performance tool I use, scanning tool, that saved me thousands of dollars by having this tool by itself. And it also helps with diagnostic. Without the dealership level software, I'll have the link in the description along with a discount code if you want to take a shot at it. I mean, it's saved me thousands of dollars. I'll say it over and over again. But anyway, that'll be the end of this video, so I can get this job done before I get rained on. All right, you non-mechanics, take it easy.